Welcome back to our whiteboard series. Excited to have you here today. Why would a board-certified doctor of naturopathy who specializes in integrative health and helping people get well and lose weight, transform their body, transform their life in both mind and body, why would I be teaching about how to read faster? Here's why. The way that I got well was to read hundreds and then thousands of books. And of course, you don't need to do that, nor do I necessarily recommend it, but I was obsessed from the age of 17 years old to 27 years old with figuring out how do I get better? How do I overcome Addison's disease and rheumatoid arthritis and type 2 diabetes and mast cell activation syndrome and insomnia and debilitating allergies and so much more? Well, I didn't obviously learn it all in one book. I learned it through reading many books and then, of course, seeing many practitioners, and that led me to my mentor, Dr. Pete, who was able to share with me all the wisdom of at-home functional medicine lab testing combined with Ayurvedic medicine, combined with advanced genetics, etc. But here's what I want to share with you. It all started with reading. And I know that you're going to be able to transform your career, your relationships, your finances, your health, your body, your spirituality, anything that you want through gaining more knowledge. And the amazing thing about books is this, is that they're the hidden secret, right? They are the secret. When you write a book, when an author writes a book, they are giving you typically their best stuff from 20 years, 30 years in practice. When I wrote my book, The Rain Barrel Effect, it was after 20 years having seen 250,000 client appointments and saying, this is what I know will help you get well. This is what I know will help you lose the weight permanently. This is what I know will help you to live longer, stronger, right? So it's like, take anybody's information, whatever topic you're interested in, read their book. But a lot of people they just say, well, I read too slow. But here's the thing. I teach everybody, no matter what, 30 minutes a day of reading, okay? Most people read on average about 3 minutes per page. So if you do 30 minutes and 3 minutes per page, you're reading 10 pages a day. Nothing wrong with that. Over a month's time, you've now read one book, because most books are around 250, 300 pages. So it's amazing, right? So the average adult reads about one book a year, if that, right? If that. So now you're reading 12 books a year. But what if you could take that same half hour a day, half hour before bed, half hour upon waking, half hour at lunch, or 10 minutes upon waking, 10 minutes at lunch, 10 minutes before bed. Now, again, no excuses. We can do this. So let's say we could read 2 books in that time. Now you're reading 24 books a year. Imagine if you read it on one topic. You would literally become an expert in that space after a year's time. Because you would know more than 99% of other people by reading 24 books in that space. I'm telling you right now, it will greatly enrich your life. So the first thing you need to do is just start reading. Before you read faster, before I give you the 3 tips that were passed on to me that I want to share with you, you just need to read, all right? So for a month, don't try to speed read yet, just read. And then I want you to follow these 3 tips. All right, so let's teach you how to read faster. So this is an excerpt from my book, The Rain Barrel Effect. And what I want to do is I simply want to share with you the 3 steps. Now you have to do them in this order. Take your time moving from one step to the next of how to read faster. So all I have right here is an envelope. So literally, this is just an envelope. If you're reading a book, you can use a white piece of paper. You can also use your finger. Because the first step to reading faster is simply to use a pacer, because most people just get distracted. They start to look around. They start to look at the other pages. So if you have a book, you want to first just fold it back so you're only reading one page, okay? And then you can use your finger as a pacer. That's step number 1. Now, you can also, though, use an envelope or a sheet of paper to block the lines that you have not read yet. And then you move down with each line on the page as you've read it. And this will allow you to move very quickly down a page reading. So if you're typically reading at 3 minutes and you use a pacer like your finger, you'll probably see it go down by a minute right away, which is great. So again, now you're reading a book in about, less than 3 weeks now, where it would typically take you a month. So again, every little bit helps, which is great. Now the next step is this. So we've got one, which is remove distractions. So first thing we want to do is remove distractions. I call it the 3 R's. So the 3 R's to speed reading. The first one is this: remove distractions, use a pacer, or use that envelope to block so that you don't see everything else. Now, the second one is this. This gets a little bit more advanced, but that's why you want to first use the pacer, then go to this. You'll be ready for it. Trust me, you'll be ready for it when you're ready for it. So you'll know when you're ready. Now, after you've been reading for a while, a couple months, maybe using a pacer, you're going to start to remove the periphery. So the peripheral words right here, you're going to remove. So basically just 1 or 2 words at the end of a sentence. And here's the interesting thing. You don't need those words. After you've been reading for a while, you're getting into it, your brain already knows what the sentence is saying. It fills in those words. So you just start to read, you just read this part. You skip the first couple words of the line. And you can always go back if you need to, but you won't. Because as you start to read 3, 4, 5 lines down, you're picking up exactly what your brain knows is already there. So it's pretty amazing. So that is the next. Now, if you do that, and trust me, you're going down from 3 minutes a page to 1.5. You're reading twice as fast. So now, again, you're reading 2 books a month rather than that 1 book a month, which, by the way, is still fantastic, okay? Now, the last part, this gets into more speed reading and block reading, but here's how you do it. You begin to read faster by removing what's called sub-vocalization. Sub-vocalization is when you're actually reading the words as you're going line by line. So for example, as bad as the statistics are for individuals living in industrialized nations with good healthcare systems in place, what's even more frightening is that these numbers include children. Okay, so what I was doing is I'm reading that, but I'm saying the words. Okay, now that's a limiting factor. You're only going to be able to read as fast as you can say the words, even just internally, which means now this takes practice. You have to start to read without actually saying the words. You see them, but you don't say them. Sub-vocalization is internally saying the words as you're reading. When you begin to eliminate saying the words as you read them just internally, then sky's the limit. You're going to be able to start to read at a much, much faster rate. And of course, in the future, I'll teach you about what's called photo reading and block reading, where you're reading an entire paragraph or sentences at a time. That'll come. Remember, use the 3 R's. That is, remove distractions. Okay, use the pacer. The second one is to remove the peripheral words. And the third one is to remove sub-vocalization. You do that, you're going to double your speed reading. Hopefully this was helpful. Would love to hear from you in the comments below. And of course, let me know if you have any questions.